So not very often I get to sit down and watch something horror with my children. Believe it or not, I don't show them horror movies almost ever. Nothing adult. The most adult thing that I've shown them horror-wise would be
Critters.
Poltergeist.
Oh, Critters.
We watched all 4
Critters.
Poltergeist movies together.
Critters.
And then after that, I tried to show them Critters because they were like fine with Poltergeist. They were like,
Poltergeist
whatever.
isn't scary.
Yeah.
It's.
I showed them
I barely.
all 3 of the originals.
I feel like it's Baby Shark. Baby Shark.
Anyway, so I tried to show them Critters and didn't go so well. They were scared.
Never show me Critters again.
Really fast, like way quick into the movie, and I was like, "What?" After Poltergeist, but
Imagine, like Bean having babies.
I don't know who Bean is. Let's focus here.
Okay.
Anyway, so we watched Just Beyond on Disney Plus.
Watch it after this video. All of it. The second you get off this video, be like, okay, Disney Plus, here I come for 8 hours.
Now, would I recommend to watch this show by yourself if you're an adult? No.
No. Watch
But
it with
I
your kids.
do think that it's a fun watch with some younger kids, like maybe in that 6 to 9, 10 age
like 10
range.
Yeah,
Maybe even 11. It's very Goosebumps.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that's from the mind of R.L. Stine. I guess that this is based on a comic book series that I'm unfamiliar with. I didn't know there was a Just Beyond thing here. But I can say that the creator of this show is the guy who wrote the books for Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. And he is also a producer on a good amount of bigger name horror movies like It Chapter 1 and 2 and the Child's Play remake. And so there's definitely some, influences of horror going on with this guy. But we're going to go kind of episode by episode. We will be talking spoilers, so if you have watched the show, you can stay for that. And I'm sure some of you just don't care.
Oh yeah.
Aren't going to watch it anyway, so we'll start with episode 1. Which is called Leave Them Kids Alone.
That was probably my favorite episode. Mine too. It was like so interesting.
This stars McKenna Grace, who I've seen in a decent amount of stuff. Most recently, Malignant. She's going to be in Ghostbusters Afterlife here coming up.
Isn't it the girl from Rose and Fuller House?
Yes, she is Rose in Fuller House.
She's in Scoob.
She's also little Judy Warren in Annabelle Comes Home. And we've been watching the I Know What You Did Last Summer, not these two, TV series. And the main girl there, Madison. Madison, how do you say her last name? Eisman? Yeah. She is in Annabelle Comes Home as well. So, oh yeah, she's young Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. She's young Sabrina in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. She's young Theo in The Haunting of Hill House. I mean, this girl really is. She's Tanya, little Tanya in I, Tanya. Jesus, the list goes on and on. I'm just scanning down. She really is an incredible little actress here. So anyways, in this episode, McKenna Grace's character is this troubled little girl, and she is going to get sent to this school for difficult girls. And when she gets there,
Difficult Girls School.
it's like school for difficult girls.
They handed it to her, and it's School for Difficult Girls.
Yeah, they didn't really think very hard on the name.
Yeah.
Really to the point.
Yeah. Don't beat around the bush.
Yeah, this is exactly what this school is for. And when she gets to the school, of course, she's still acting rebellious.
Yeah.
And every other girl there is prim and proper and perfect, and they all have the same
haircut.
The same haircut.
It's creepy. When I first watched it, it was kind of creepy.
And they're all acting very robotic.
They're like beep bop boop bop. No, they're not.
Oh my God.
But they're like so perfect. and if anything goes
They're
wrong,
like,
you try to
hello,
correct
what's your name? Oh, I know it. Because I'm a robot.
no,
They're not robots.
They're not
Not
robots,
robots,
but they are
but they-
robotic.
they're a robot.
Okay, maybe I got the wrong information. Moving on.
Anyway, so what happens?
Yeah.
She has a hair appointment booked
Mm-hmm.
because she's got to get her hair did just like everyone else.
And you guys are wondering why, huh?
Well,
It was super weird when I watched it because she was just like, what can you get it done faster? And it was just like, I need to get touch-ups done. It was kind of creepy, almost.
Yeah. So you have to get a touch up with this hairdresser that
But-
they have.
I
It's
have
very
a question
weird.
after we tell them. I have a question about it.
Okay, that's good. So overall, what'd you think of the episode?
I really liked it. It was probably my favorite episode. I thought it was very interesting, and the way they saved the day is, I like it.
Okay. How did they save the day, Oliver?
They saved the day by playing Green Day.
That's true.
So their hair is what makes them like that, and they have to get touch-ups, and
Well, because it's a machine
so they
that
can't listen
takes
to
over
music.
their brains.
and makes them so perfect of all of the rules, and they can all listen to music.
Right, but they're like brain dead. They don't have any personality.
No, they're
Except
just
for her friend.
Yeah.
except
Which
her
was
friend. Because she had a skateboard accident, right?
Right, she had a metal plate in her head.
Yeah.
And so it was bouncing off of that and not working on her. So she was able to overcome it. So they snuck in, found out what was going on. And that's right. We had a Shawshank Redemption moment where they broke in and over the loudspeaker they played some music that wasn't allowed. That punk rock sound
Green
broke
Day.
them all out.
Green Day.
And they all
Little
started
rebels.
rocking and rebelling, and they all got to come out together. And the girl she met got to reunite with her sister,
Yeah.
and
That,
they
like-
rode off into the sunset. I have to say, I think if I might be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure every single episode ends very happily.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Is it everyone? There's nothing even
Every
slightly.
single one is happy.
So like.
Nothing like dark
But
at
my
all.
question is,
Okay. I
my
didn't
question
think
is,
so.
if they all went home, like how would they get touch-ups done? And if they played music, like their parents played music, and like if they did school, they'd be so brain dead.
So yeah, as far as like the whole, how does this like
They're there.
continue to keep affecting them once they've left the school thing?
And then like music.
I have no idea.
And then they have to get touch-ups, and like when they
They'd
go to
have to
school, they're gonna
live
be
with it-
so brain
They'd
dead.
have to live at
when
the
they go to
school basically indefinitely. I
Yeah.
think that really just is kind of a scam. Now, I don't know if they're going to like be getting anything from it except for monetary gain, and then once like the kids go home, the kids won't go home till they're adults, and then it's really just like get out.
Yeah.
You know, the school didn't
So-
work, I guess you gotta go. But by that point, they got your money. But now, if they're stealing something from their mind or whatever, I didn't get that, and I didn't get that. It just seems like they were
No.
The
controlling
one thing
them.
that I would like about the episode is if, like, when she got them out, it would like take the souls from her, the girl, the main mistress girl.
Yeah,
If that would have happened, I would have liked the episode more than I did.
yeah, they definitely don't. It doesn't seem like they have any agenda past like
And-
control.
Yeah.
And like, why
But
would the
for
head
why, I don't
mistress have different hair, but all of them had the same hair? That would be suspicious. I'd be like, why don't you have that hair? And
Because she's not a student, right?
well, wouldn't she grow up there and then take it?
No. What are you doing?
Fuck.
That's how you get rid of bugs now?
Did you do this?
Not your
it was like
hands,
fine.
just-
It was like- Go away. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
What did you think of the episode, Kaylee? What did you think of the show overall?
Overall, I thought it was a good show. I like all the like morality tales in each
Yes.
episode. I thought that they all had really good lessons to be learned, and
Okay, I have a question for
Can
you.
you not interrupt
and you.
people when they're talking?
Sorry.
Continue.
I mean, yeah, it's very goosebumps, and so I liked it. I would have been creeped out by it if I saw it when I was younger, for sure. Definitely some later episodes would have kind of freaked me out a bit, but this one I think would have been one that actually scared me a little.
The question I was going to ask next, ladies, is that every episode has a moral that you're supposed to take away from it? Do you feel like you had anything
It's a moral.
that...
Like the lesson of the story.
Correct.
I'm not sure. Be yourself or something like that? No, I don't know. I don't.
Don't be a conformist.
Yeah.
What's a conformist?
It's better to be yourself than to follow the herd like a sheep.
That
So,
makes sense.
yeah. It's about, losing oneself and not being you anymore, and losing what makes you you, and falling under control.
And that happens in another episode that freaked Oliver out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's a different lesson, but it's kind of like taking whatever we'll talk
So
about.
what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask you, which episode do you think that had the greatest lesson for Kaylee and Neil?
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
The last episode would be my answer for sure.
Okay. Anyway.
All right, next one is parents are from Mars, kids are from Venus. You guys wouldn't get that reference, but there was a very popular book once called Women Are from Mars, Men Are from Venus, or the flip of that. I can't remember who was from Mars and who was from
Women are from Venus, men are from Mars.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus is what it was. That's what it was. Anyways, in this episode, these two kids are like best friends.
Best friends.
And we also get another Haunting of Hill House alum here. In Henry Thomas, who is in pretty much everything Mike Flanagan's ever done, and of course is best known as Elliot from E.T. But,
Me.
yeah, that's right. So, let's see. I'm trying to see if these directors have ever done
It also
anything that's
has,
interesting.
Is it Eric from Tim and Eric?
I'm looking at what this person has directed, but they're all just TV episodes. The kid?
No, the.
Oh, you're talking about the. I can tell you that the main kid in this, the main.
Because every
Because
episode
there's two
is about main
characters.
kids.
There's two kids. One of the kids is Andy from the Child's Play remake,
Who's that?
which I'm not a fan of, but it is what it is. And then
Still same dude.
I guess the other kid is a main character in the new Are You Afraid of the Dark series, which we couldn't watch because they were too scared of it. Which I feel like you'd be fine now
Yeah.
after what we've watched.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was up with you guys there.
I don't
but
know.
It
I
is
don't
what it is.
The child man is coming for me.
And episodes of this were directed by Mark Webb, and he was overseeing this project as well, and he directed the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. They really got some decent talent behind this. And anyway, so this one was about these kids who basically find out that they're... Oh, I locked the phone accidentally. That was...
So wait, it's
they
about-
find out they're... What? Go ahead.
They found out their parents were aliens,
Sure did.
and at the end of the episode, they found out that they're aliens too.
Mm-hmm. This is very reminiscent of an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark called The Tale of the 13th Floor, I want to say is the name of that episode.
Please don't tell me you're an alien. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I have my green card, I'm good.
Okay. Anyway.
What did you guys think of this episode?
Probably my least favorite episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just.
like
I'm not
a-
a fan of aliens. I mean,
No?
I like them. I just.
What if any aliens are watching right now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but I don't like you.
I'm sorry.
I don't like you.
I'm sorry. We're all different. Oh my god! But this starting when the alien ship comes down and they look back at their parents, and their parents like heads go.
Yeah, we get a little opening here, and Kaylee's favorite part was
The dog floating.
Floating dog.
the
Yes.
floating dog.
It's the best.
Which reminds me of the opening of Goosebumps, where the dog's eyes light up green,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the dog starts barking the theme song, which always makes me laugh every single time.
The first time I watched Goosebumps, like the first episode I watched, that made me laugh so hard.
Yeah. So, I mean, we also end up finding out that Henry Thomas's character here is the one that was helping them discover that the parents were aliens. But then he ends up being an alien too, which I'm not really sure how that works, since he's like, I don't know, is he
Yeah,
trying to like soften the
Yeah.
blow so that they don't freak out when they find out their parents are aliens? Is he
Yeah.
trying to help out? Is he a friend? Is he involved? Do the parents know he's an alien? Like, I'm super confused on him being an
Yeah.
alien.
I was too.
He was
I
like
didn't
trying to
get
figure out the
point.
mystery if they're aliens
Yeah.
or not, and then when they're
Then he ends
but
up,
then
he's
when-
like, oh, he has the little tentacle arms.
yeah, but
it's like,
what I really liked, what I
we
really
were all
liked,
conspiratorial.
but they're like not fully aliens. Like their arms just turn into these like, they're not fully.
What I
I don't
liked-
know if we ever see their like full form, right? I think that
They
you
just
know
have
they
their
just get in their
arms.
little
What I like.
spaceship van.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah.
The spaceship van when he was just like, put his arm.
This episode was really fun though. I mean, it's like they were so freaked out by their parents, and there was all this like tension and stress because they think their parents are
What's
gonna
the
kill
episode after
them,
Yeah.
I'm trying
and
to
then they
find
find out that it's just they were just trying to find the right time to tell them, like,
Yeah.
hey, you're different.
like hey, like hi.
Hi, you're aliens.
yeah,
I'm gonna eat
exactly.
you. I'm gonna turn you into a chip and eat you for dinner.
So, anyways, this episode was silly. It doesn't really even. I don't know. I guess if you think your parents are aliens and they're like performing this ritual, I'm sure they thought they were like witches, evil entities at one point, and then they find out like, no, we're also aliens and everything's good. And
And like their arm were like getting like red and
oh yeah, they're getting rashes throughout the episode.
And they're like,
'cause
oh
they're
no, oh
just
no,
about
oh
to
no.
change.
And it itches.
Yeah. So I don't know if like because they can turn into humans, the whole like biology of them is very confusing to me. Of like they're born babies, human babies, and
Then
then
they
when they turn
turn.
13 or something, they can take on this form.
I don't think they're
So
15, I
like
think
on
they're
their planet, do they look like alien or do they look like people up until they can change into their normal form? Like
oh,
why would
man,
they
it's got, like,
stay?
tentacles.
Yeah, why would they stay
Well,
looking like people
It,
on Earth
right.
Yeah,
if
like,
they
that's-
were babies? Like babies wouldn't know to look like people if they're shapeshifters, right? So like,
Sure,
what's
yeah.
their real form, and why didn't the kids know they had a real form until this moment? Like,
Well,
you can't question these things
No,
too much,
especially
but
'cause-
it makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a metaphor for puberty, right? Like that's what it is at the end of the day. So I don't know, but it wouldn't
Well,
make sense. for
maybe
them.
like you don't get the form until you're older.
What I really liked is
Well,
it's
but
game
that's what I'm
night.
saying. On their
The adults,
planet where they're
yeah.
from, do they look like humans
Or-
until they just miraculously change into tentacle humans?
So
Like, it doesn't really make any
hold
sense.
on, there's a
But-
bunch of math equations going off in my head.
Math equations,
they-
huh? Okay, well, let us know how that goes. Alright, so the next episode is Witch. And this one, let's see, the director, no, nothing noteworthy. And the cast, oh yeah, David Lingle is in this. He was in WandaVision recently. He's this guy with the mustache. I've seen him in a whole bunch of things. But I
His
think he's the most
nose. Why is his nose
noteworthy
so weird?
person in this. So this girl lives in a world kind of like this movie I watched recently called Witch Hunt, where witches are known to exist. There's not many of them, except for in like England or Britain or something, which is very Harry Potter like. Like I almost feel like this was very Harry Potter esque because this girl goes to like a witch school. Like another girl who shows up later in the episode, who's her cousin, and
I love her.
they're like,
Yeah.
she's around witches all the time, and this other girl is kind of living with muggles,
Right.
basically,
trying to pretend.
and-
trying to pretend that she's not a witch, and everyone in school, of course, like knows that she is, but like she tries to hide that fact and doesn't want to embrace it, and of course. The moral of this is what?
The moral of this is to be yourself.
Be yourself. Embrace who you are.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is that me and Kaylee called this, but the guy that she dates is a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they go to prom and he was just like, I don't want to take a picture because of lights and cameras.
And she's not like
Somewhat.
all that
sensitive.
perturbed by it, so I'm assuming that vampires are well known to
Yes.
exist as well. Now, how he's walking around in the sunlight, I don't know how any of this stuff works in their world, but yeah, her cousin shows up and she's like, you know, she's full witch.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not hiding nothing. I am who
Purple
I am.
eyes, long nails,
Yeah.
like this really cool one. She has this bag that like goes deep.
Yeah, very
From, like, Harry Potter.
Very Harry Potter.
Like,
And
like
she's got
that.
this crazy hair that I love.
I mean, she might as well have just said she came from Hogwarts. I mean, at this point. But yeah,
Didn't
this
I'm kidding.
she convinces this girl to just be herself, and she does,
And she looks beautiful.
and she's happy
Yes.
being herself
Exactly. She
as
doesn't
she
have to
should
hide.
be.
I
Right.
love their purple eyes.
But there is one major flaw of this episode. One ginormous flaw.
Yes.
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 They have an amazingly hilarious cat that shows up.
Oh my
And we thought that this was gonna like play into the film or the episode,
And it's talking.
and he just never comes back.
And it never
Just
comes
one
And
back.
it was just like really quick and random, and we were like, okay,
Because
is that gonna play into anything?
We
Yeah.
loved it.
We loved
loved
it.
it, and
He
we were
was.
like-
They were talking, and he was just like, "Hello, hello. Do you want me to scratch his face off for you?"
Yeah.
And then she just takes it away, and then, like powers.
Yeah.
But I think it's Luna's cat because in her bag, I hear a meow. Like,
You think she sent it ahead of time?
yeah, she's like
It's like Errol the owl.
maybe. Anyway, but yeah, that's what
I
he is.
forgot. Like, there's two things I wanted to say, and you just
Go
keep
ahead.
talking, and I forgot them.
Too bad.
Oh no.
All right.
We'll
So
come back.
We'll come back.
next one,
5 hours.
what I thought was gonna be the scariest one, My Monster.
Oh my god, this one was so creepy. I literally
I think
thought
like
demon was- I thought-
why they put the episode that we were just watching before, like that's not scary, to get you prepared for this episode.
Go ahead, Elliot.
This, I literally thought there was a demon from hell in this one. Literally, it dropped down like.
So how is this the scariest episode to you, Elliot? It has a demon straight from hell in it.
No.
Sounds scary.
No, I don't like that bully. That bully one.
Because he's a bully?
No, because he's big and scary.
More than a demon from hell? Just some nerdy little kid who's beating people up is scarier to you than a demon?
Because demons aren't real.
Hmm.
And a bully is real. So,
Okay. So, after moving into her mom's creepy childhood home, a teenager is haunted by a masked monster.
Monster.
Now, I feel like I've seen this girl before, but I'm looking.
that's Bella from the Bulldogs.
For us.
No, it is not.
What?
It's not.
This is the girl
Oh, Yes
from Yes Day.
Yes, Day.
From Netflix. Anyways, so in this episode, this girl's seeing this monster who's kind of appearing and disappearing.
When she gets nervous.
When she gets scared, that's right.
Nervous.
Right. And so the moral of this one is to
Face your fears.
face your fears. Thank you, Elliot, not Oliver, once again.
I haven't been into talking through this whole episode.
This whole episode we just started talking about.
I
Go
know.
ahead, you have the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the floor.
Everyone's waiting on your words.
Hold on. I can't just talk on the spot.
Well, then you shouldn't be on this channel. Because this is all about talking on the spot.
There she goes.
There she goes.
Bye.
I thought we weren't going to get up.
Oh.
No, you told me to walk away, so.
I
This
did not. I
episode
said you
was-
shouldn't go.
Definitely the scariest one for me. I feel like it had the most
But this
actual,
one,
like,
it's so
horror
weird.
elements.
This just like yeah.
She's talking once again.
I'm sorry. It had the most horror elements
Yeah,
of all the episodes.
definitely.
The mask and all the like.
Definitely. He wasn't too creepy though.
He was a demon straight from hell.
no.
But he's not too
that
creepy.
creepy.
Okay. So
Okay.
what would be?
I know.
What?
You. Oh, you're real. He's not.
The kid in this, one of the kids in this, is the little boy from Sinners season 2. The whole season is about that kid. I thought he looked familiar. I'm just looking through the cast as these guys are talking about whatever the hell. Knew this girl was in Fear Street.
Oh, I think you love me.
But yeah, I definitely thought this was the most horror of the show for sure. The way the monster was done, the way the monster looked, the way the monster was coming at her, how it was appearing. Mm-hmm. It was definitely the most horror by far. Like, there's some episodes in this that are like not horror in the slightest. But I don't really find that this show is trying to be horror per se. This feels like a Twilight Zone for children.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, it has some science fiction elements. It has some horror elements here and there. There's always a flavor of horror, whether it just be ghosts or something, or an alternate dimension. But it doesn't always play out horror-like. But it always has horror elements.
Like Julian Phantoms.
No.
Phantoms! There's phantoms!
Julian the Phantoms just has ghosts and they're never scary.
Never.
So that's not... No.
That's not true.
But I get what you're saying.
Caleb-
I get what you're saying. But
Kaylee.
anyway,
I haven't seen yet.
So yeah, you guys like this episode? Is there any episode that you didn't like? The alien one?
The
Yeah,
alien
so
one
fun.
and the bully one. I don't like those two.
You didn't like the bully one because it scared you?
No, because he's big and I don't like bullies at all.
So it scared you, and that's why you didn't like the episode.
I'm not scared. I just.
You just said it was the scariest episode.
Well, okay, fine. He's just. I don't like him.
But yeah, she finds out that her mom had been also seeing this monster, and this was something she still sees to this day anytime that she gets nervous or scared. And this girl was kind of afraid to do everything. She didn't want to go on the roller coasters. She didn't want to ride the dragon.
Oh my god.
Which actually kind of reminds me of the
50
Stephen
people.
King's
50
Riding the
people.
Bullet.
Last year, like the last year, they said 50 people flew off it.
Which, of course, is an urban legend that lots of kids like to tell each other so that they'll be afraid of a ride. But she also doesn't want to, like, hang out with other girls. She doesn't want to do anything. She's, like, afraid of her own shadow, almost literally. And this becomes, comes through her. This metaphor kind of becomes more tangible and in the flesh. And once she embraces it and faces her fear, this monster kind of almost becomes like an old friend, as they refer to it as. And I thought that was great. I thought the message behind that's fantastic for kids to really explore their fear and face it. What?
I was gonna say at the ending when she takes off that guy's mask, we don't see what he looks like.
That's true, and that's a good point. I don't know what I think it is, but I said, and I'm sticking to that she saw herself.
I'm sticking to she saw like
A mirror.
just a mirror. I was sticking to she took off the mask and there was nothing there. It was just nothing.
I think it was a mirror.
It was just
seeing
inside,
herself.
just nothing, air, nothing.
I think it was her father.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely different interpretations for sure.
Yeah, I think I was sticking with it.
Nothing could work. I mean, as far as like, there's nothing to fear. There's, my interpretation of seeing herself, where it's like the only person that's making you afraid of anything is you. Kaylee's father, I don't know. I guess it brings her comfort seeing her dead father.
Was he dead?
Or no, he left.
Wasn't dead. He left.
That's right. He took
And
off.
there was this.
I'm thinking of the eighth episode.
Yeah. So I feel like she has some anxiety around his abandoning her. So that's just why.
Her fears are stemming from him, and he's the proponent of it. But what was
from the
under her
separation.
mom's mask?
Yeah, it's a good question. I like the interpretation of it being like just herself, or whoever's seeing it.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, it could be
I think
like
it could be a variety of
the
things.
movie Contact with Jodie Foster. I won't say any more in case we ever watch that, but whatever. Anyways, next one, Oliver, is your favorite, Unfiltered. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that I think it's a mirror.
So she's seeing herself.
So she's seeing herself, and she's just.
That's the same thing as mine.
Yeah, it's like just her mirror, just a big mirror. A mirror.
So herself.
Yes.
Okay. So unfiltered, Oliver. What is the moral of unfiltered?
Can I say?
No. Come on, Oliver. To just.
Yeah.
Sick.
Me.
Come on, Oliver.
You know.
What?
Boggle. Come on. I know it though.
What?
To pay attention on the inside, not the out.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think that in life it's, I say this way too often, but it's about balance. It's about finding and embracing your inner beauty while expressing, you know, who you are and your outer beauty. Like, accepting your flaws and highlighting your strengths, I think, is really what's going on here. She's not an ugly girl.
No,
She just has, like, what people would consider flaws. She has this really wonky nose that she can't stand, and she wants to get rid of it. So her teacher, who ends up being this witch, I suppose, tells her about this app that she can download.
Called Let It Glow.
Let It Glow.
It's a glow up app. Kind of like Let It Go. Let it go. But let it go. Let
We got it. Yeah, so she downloads this app, and then she, any filters that she puts on her app,
it will come on her face.
That's
It
right.
will come like if I put this on, makeup will come.
Well, really, it changes her features.
Yes.
So she puts a new nose on herself, then
Right.
she gets a new nose. And of course, so to give a little more context to this, she's like the smartest girl in school.
Yeah.
And, you know, but she dreams about being popular and pretty and sought after by the guy that she's into, who really just straight up uses her to get, you know, her to help him pass his classes, because he's not going to be able to throw a party or do what he wants unless he gets good grades. And, you know, that was one thing in this episode. Now, this isn't a flaw, because I think this is more true to life, but, like, they try to make it seem like, you know, he was trying to talk to her for her personality later on in the episode.
It's such a joke.
And it's like, you didn't even notice this girl before she was pretty.
No.
Pretty.
And she doesn't, I mean, she looks very exaggerated, right? Like, she's got giant lips and, like, super contoured, like, cheekbones and everything. And all of it looks very filtered. So, he was definitely not interested in her before.
Not at all. Not in the slightest. So this guy comes around, and she's like, all right, I got to get this guy's attention somehow. I'll do anything. She then, of course, gets this app. This app is cursed, much like the movie Countdown, or
Yeah,
you know,
I thought of that too. Actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what
And later in the
episode?
episode, she sees all these mirrors with like these ghosts in them,
Yeah.
like their souls, because the app has like this flaw where it erases your memory and it changes your personality.
That's right. So she starts to have the effects of this app, which is, as she said,
Losing your memory and
Yeah.
change every person.
yeah, she becomes a total moron, total ditz. She's supposed to be in these competitions for trivia in her school.
It's called a quiz bowl.
Yeah, the quiz bowl, that's right. And she, of course, shows up and can't answer a single question, and she starts completely ignoring and being terrible to her best friend, because her best friend is just being herself, and her best friend is considered a nerd, and she doesn't want to be anywhere near her. And so she abandons the people she loves to pretend to be someone that she's not, and loses everything. At the end, we find out that this girl is stealing their essence, the teacher, to stay young and pretty forever, which is, of course, also very much like another Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. Very, very similar. Almost identical, honestly, except for the app angle. Go ahead.
She's like she says like the other centuries, I've known a lot of people
Yeah, she's been
who
doing this
always
forever.
choose the outside
Yeah.
and never
Now-
the inside.
The app obviously is a new addition to
Yeah.
her arsenal.
Sure.
I don't know what she was using before this.
Maybe like
I
a
have no
Painting.
idea.
like a mirror.
Maybe, I have no idea.
Do
But
you look
as of
into
today,
it and you think of what you want to change and it just changes? But whatever, as of
it
today.
could work. And then she starts.
Hitting all the glass.
No,
windows.
not yet. So she goes to this party. She doesn't think she's hot enough. Even still, she's gotten all the attention.
Like the big
and this
lips.
guy stops paying attention to her because she's an airhead. Now, as I said, this guy had no interest in her when she was just smart and wanted to have a great conversation with him before. So he's totally full of it. He wants both. He's like, he wants the whole package, which he's supposed to be the hottest guy in school, right? So I guess he can be picky.
I guess.
I don't know. But she thinks it's because of her looks and not her personality.
Right.
So she tries to go even deeper, and then she ends up looking like some sideshow freak that's had too much plastic surgery. She tries to undo the changes. It won't work. And then she goes and she
cannot
finds
undo
out that these changes are permanent, and she's going to look ugly forever, and she's not going to have her memory, and she's not going to be her. So she ends up breaking all these mirrors with all these other souls inside, gets her face back, learns probably no lessons.
That other woman
Just
just dies.
Like, she
literally
just,
like
rots.
she starts breaking out, and then she just turns into ashes. And
Like
then she
a
just turns into like.
Oh yeah, she
full
ages really
bones.
fast and dies. Cool.
Yeah, it's like she just like gets these cracks in her forehead, and Jane's like
Yeah.
loses her eyes.
It looks exactly, and is exactly the same as Are You Afraid? Her episode, as I said, is pretty damn similar. But yeah, the obvious takeaway here is the friend is like wanting nothing to do with her at the end, but then of course forgives her, and they ride off happily ever
Into the
after.
sunset, yeah.
And yeah, she just got her life back, and she realizes like, hey, my intelligence is a strength, and I should just be me, and whoever likes me for me is, and if I like them, then perfect. If they don't, bye.
Bye.
And at the ending, of course, they win the quiz bowl.
Yes, without her.
Yes.
Without her, because she gets kicked off the team because of how she's acting.
So next up, we've got spirits. Yes, we do. This is a silly episode.
Hold on, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
We've got spirits. Yes, we do. I've got spirits. How about you?
Thank you for that.
Great
Because
cheer.
we couldn't have done without that one. This one's pretty silly. This one is from Mark Webb, the director of Spider-Man 1 and 2, the amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Amazing.
And this girl has to go to this playhouse.
Museum, kind
What
of
do they
like.
say?
It's not a museum.
what is it
It's a
say?
theater.
It's
On a
like
field trip
theater.
to a legendary theater,
Yes.
a 14-year-old student becomes trapped in a ghostly drama.
Because they all got burnt in the fire.
They all did get burned in a fire, and one other person was burned in this fire as well that they didn't know was there, but they were trying to push her out of the show because of some woman who worked in there and didn't want any competition.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this one actually had some horror bits to it. It had the big, scary skull.
Like a big scary skull that kept popping in and trying to like hurt the other souls in there that are just kind. One's kind of like mean, but the other ones are like kind. And what I also liked, can I say this? What I also liked is that the ghost could come inside the people
And act as
and
them.
act as them.
Possess them.
Possessed.
Possess. Like I can possess you if I become a ghost. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
You're way too big for me. Anyways.
The skull looks
I really like
cool.
the skull, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was super cool looking.
I
And
did
when
too.
she like tried, what I liked is that she was asked on the field trip. She was like, "Why don't you come and help her explore?" And she went over and she was like, "I need to use the bathroom." And she just looked on her phone. She fell asleep.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
And they just forgot her. They didn't go looking.
Yeah, they
for
didn't
her.
do a very good sweep of the building to make
Yeah.
sure anyone was inside, and that school definitely would have some lawsuits.
And it was like
Oh,
so
for
long
sure.
until they came and to the museum and got her.
There wasn't even that many kids,
No.
so you would think that they'd do like a roll call on the bus, or
Yes.
that maybe a teacher would notice one of her students was straight up missing for a day.
Yeah, like the parents.
The parents,
didn't come
the parents
to,
don't come there
like-
till morning.
Oh,
Like, how long did it take for you to realize she might still be where you last saw her?
yeah.
Like,
Negligent.
super silly.
Kind of
Super
one thing
dumb.
that I wanted to say is that like they have all of the pictures of the people that died there, and like all of them fell except for the one that was like the skull and like,
Right.
the skull lady, which is really cool.
Right, she wanted vengeance. Yeah. So, overall, I wasn't super
go ahead,
big
go
on
ahead.
this episode. I thought it was kind of lame, to be honest. Yeah, I wasn't really buying anything. I didn't like the performance from the main girl.
It's sorry.
Just seemed like a silly episode.
It's kind of like a refresher from like all the scariness that was going on from like the 2 episodes that
Yeah.
were scary. They were trying to get you in.
wait,
like
wait.
watching it. What was I gonna say? How she's like trapped inside and it's like locked and there's nobody inside, but there's like that big chain. I'm not sure why, but what I liked is that they were just trying to keep them, but one of them knew that where the key was.
I think the moral of this is forgiveness. I think is what you're supposed to take from this.
Yeah.
To not hold grudges.
Yes.
But it's not handled very well.
We didn't talk about.
We didn't really know. I think what doesn't really work about this episode is that we don't know absolutely anything about the villain's character
Right.
and what her backstory is, except for very mild moments where they talk about it for like a second.
Yes.
So that's why this doesn't emotionally work at the end.
I agree.
What?
What I wanted to say is that she's really the ghost skull lady is really mad at the Regal girl.
Yes.
Because she was trying to take her part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like she was trying to make them all say they're sorry.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did they?
And they were just like sorry. And then she was like, come on. And so they were all like saying actual sorry.
Next up, standing up for yourself with the bully. Which actually, there's some funny moments in this because I like the ending. I like kind of the twist here.
Yeah.
I guess this is the one that you could consider
Yeah.
a not happy ending.
For at least
Right?
one of the characters, yeah.
Yeah. So there's this jerk in town, goes by the name of Trevor Larkin, and he lives in Larkinville. And he is this guy. Now, I definitely thought this was going to be more supernatural in the sense that this kid could control things with his mind or he had superpowers or something to why everyone feared him. But the only reason everyone in the town fears him is because his dad owns the town and could fire any of them. That just doesn't seem like a good enough reason for people not to leave or not to just punch this kid right in the face.
Yeah,
Like this kid is abysmal.
oh my god.
He's just like kicking people's flowers as they're planting them. He's like hitting paint out of guys, trays as they're trying to paint walls.
Stealing people's food.
Yeah, pushing people, just grabbing things, throwing them. There's no way.
It's a mess.
Nobody would deal with this stuff. So that's what I was saying. I was like, oh, he has to have them under some kind of threatening spell or power or
Right.
something. But it's just his dad owns the town? No way.
The power of money.
Right. But then we're going to talk, or am I going to continue?
No, I was waiting to talk.
Okay, brain just died. Fantastic. So then this kid comes to school who's like the ultimate target for a bully.
That literally, like, they have a bell that goes off when he's there.
This
so
is
that
this is something totally different. This is when Trevor Larkin shows up, they have a bell that goes off that alerts everyone in the school that the bully is coming. I'm talking about the kid who shows up when he's in class, who's the ultimate, like, kid to make fun of.
Yeah.
He's a ginger, he's got one leg, he wears glasses, he's got acne.
His
it's
last
like,
name is Burger.
oh yeah, his last name's Burger. Like, it's just,
I love how in class when he walks in, he's like,
it's definitely hard to do some of these reviews and being PG. But yeah, it's definitely what a bully dreams about. How
Yes.
about that? And so he's really mean to this kid, and this kid's just like, you messed with the wrong kid, essentially. And we find out that his mom?
No, Grandma.
Grandma
Yeah.
is like a witch's kind of thing.
Like a gypsy.
Like a gypsy.
She
Yeah,
got like a gypsy curse. Reminds me of Stephen King's Thinner. She comes up and she curses him. And when he wakes up, what happened?
He's very small.
Super small.
Yeah.
Little,
And like
little kid.
when he goes into town, everybody's making fun of him, and like he's like, "Please stop."
Yeah. I mean, they didn't learn from his like, don't bully people.
No.
But they're just,
Getting
nothing's changed for them. It's only just his physical appearance that changes. People catch on to that he's Trevor Larkin. And so they rally around him. Then he goes and he begs for forgiveness.
Oh yeah, what's really funny is like that dog. He's really
Oh, yeah.
tiny and he gets loose.
Yeah. And so he has to run from the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then the gypsy lady, he begs her for forgiveness. I'll never be this way again. And she ends up forgiving him. And when he wakes up in the morning, you think like, oh, he's going to be reformed. He's going to be a changed man. To which he does what?
He's not.
At all.
No.
He's like,
He's this
payback time.
Yes, instantly.
Which I actually thought was really funny and
Yeah.
cool, and I liked that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that just doesn't. Some people like this, they just don't change.
Sure, yeah.
And I've said this a million times. I just don't feel like people like this change at their core. I don't care if they have a Christmas Carol type of moment where they can go back and see their past, their present, their future, or have this alternate reality where he's smaller. It's just not enough, man. It's just not enough. It's not going to change these kids. And this very much proves that. So then what happens? He goes out to get revenge and what?
Hold on 1 second. I wanted to say something else.
Okay.
I've been waiting. So when they're playing like that ball,
Yeah, dodgeball.
dodgeball, he throws it at this kid, and his nose like starts bleeding and breaks his nose or something.
Yeah.
And like his mom's like begging the teacher, like, please, please.
Yeah, she's really the first one that stands up to Trevor, and she ends up getting evicted from her house. Now, how the kid's still going to school there, I don't understand. Continue. Is there something more you want to say?
No.
What?
You just interrupted me while I was talking.
Well, I thought you were done. What more did you want to say about that? Cool. So, anyway, what?
All I wanted to say is like later in the episode you can see them moving.
Yeah.
Like
What do you
they're
mean?
like, no, I'm gone. Done with
Which
this.
is good, because she stood up for herself. And you should, because that's the point of this.
I'm trying to remember what she was saying. She was like, can you please like do something to this kid, like whatever, like I'm trying to think of the word, the right word.
Reprimand.
Expel
him.
Expel him. And
Yeah,
he's like,
that's-
no, I can't.
Yeah, the principal's terrified of him. She's like, no,
I
I'll
can't.
get fired. And yeah, this girl gets evicted, and this kid does not learn from his lesson. And what happens to him when he comes to get revenge?
The town is not.
It's not
His
Larkinville
town.
anymore. It's
Burger.
Burger Town or Bill.
Burgerville.
Is it Bill?
Town.
Burger Town's better. I like
Burgertown is
that.
better.
And little ginger one-legged burger is the new
sweetheart.
Trevor
And he's so
of this
sweet.
of this town, and
So
Trevor is his dad is a gardener, and he tramples his dad's flowers, and he's like, Trevor, why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
And now he's the poor kid in town, and no one. Now, this doesn't stop him from bullying people.
Sure. No, it does not. But it stops him from having like
The power,
yes.
yeah, and the influence
Of
to
anyone
be able
being
to
scared
stop
of him.
people. Yeah. So, and then finally, the last episode here,
Is that all?
we have got the treehouse, which is definitely way more sad
Yes.
Yeah.
than scary. What happens in this episode? Oliver.
yeah.
Since you seem to think everyone's interrupting you. The floor is yours. What happens? Give us that
You
synopsis.
can't give me the floor unless I have something to talk about.
I want you to tell me what this episode's about.
Well, what happens in the starting of the episode is they're literally just talking about a comic,
Yep.
right? and it's like his dad's favorite comic,
Mm-hmm.
and they come to this kid, the Tom,
It's bully, yeah.
this like bully Tommy, and like he was like, oh, comic, and he looks at it and he just throws it and ruins it.
It's like a mint condition.
And he's like, come
comic.
on.
And it's very special to him. Why?
Because it's his dad's favorite comic. His
Ever. That's right.
Ever. In the universes of universes.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens, Elliot?
And then he says, well, now it's pavement.
Yes, he says, leave my comic alone. It's mint. And he's like, well, now it's pavement. And he throws it on the ground into the water.
And then steps on it.
Oh, I was
Dad,
so mad
yeah,
about
he
that.
was just
Yeah.
like, what
And
I
he
wanted to
ruins
say is that in Goosebumps 2, the movie, the bully in it, from two kids, one black and one white, the bully, his name is Tommy. And that's...
And in the starting of the episode, the main kid's friend is wearing a Goosebumps shirt.
Yep. There's a Goosebumps reference in this from the t-shirt.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so he goes home because we find out his father died about a year ago. He's still dealing with this.
We never figure out why he died. He was like,
No.
don't tell me how.
Nope, we never find out how and
I was wondering how, like a car accident, maybe.
we'll never know. Which I
Maybe
actually
a
like.
plane
I do too.
accident.
It's ambiguous.
Yeah.
You know,
You
could come up
I would
with
assume
anything.
that it's probably not a disease. I would assume that it's
Some kind of
something,
accident.
some
It
kind
was
of accident.
1 year ago.
So he comes home. He wants to go and hang out in his treehouse that his dad and him were building before his dad's death. It's not fully finished.
The roof
The roof is caving in,
And he's like, please, I've had enough wet comics today.
and this treehouse gets struck by
lightning.
lightning,
Wait.
and this sends him into a
Like, the
Alternate
universe
universe?
dimension.
Yep.
And he, like, freezes. And, like, the whole world is, like, destroyed. And, like, he's, like, glitching. And he glitches.
So
in
before
and out.
that, he wakes up. He's in bed. He's got a whole new family.
Family.
New dad, new mom,
And
New
his
dog.
and
new dog. And his, like, and his best friend is Tommy the Jerk.
Yep, his best friend is Tommy the Jerk,
And he's a jerk.
He's a jerk himself,
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
a jerk to his best
which shows
friend.
you that, you know, there's the argument between nature and nurture, right? And with different parents, you can be a completely different person, a bully, a jerk, and with another life, you can be a cool, nerdy kid.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, so he, of course, rejects this, like, what the hell's going on, runs out of the house, and this is when he starts glitching
He's,
and
like,
seeing
glitching
this
outside.
dystopian wasteland all around
It kind of
him.
looks like after the storm, after 10.
It's like more like a nuclear
years.
war.
Everything just.
It's like
And it,
Judgment
like-
Day.
Yes.
And, it all turns, like, yellow.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And what I was gonna say is he runs to his parents' house,
Mm-hmm.
and he comes and he's like knocking, and like his mom answers the door.
His real mom, huh?
His
And
real mom.
It's okay.
And like he's like, Mom, thanks for the joke.
Yeah.
And like
The mom-
he comes in and he like calls for his dad,
yeah.
and he's like, Dad.
Well, he doesn't come in calling for his dad because he would think his dad is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no,
then his
it's
dad
the,
comes in and he
the
freaks
mom
out.
calls for the dad.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
The dad's alive in this universe.
the dad is alive, but they did not have this kid.
No.
No.
right?
they didn't.
They did a different path. Somehow
What I
he's
really-
the same kid made by different parents. How that would work, who knows?
Uh,
But
Yeah. I mean,
like,
What I really would have liked.
Oliver would, Dad was just like, is this the same mom? Is this the same woman? And he was just like, no.
no, sure wasn't.
What I really would have liked, what they done with the episode is if the kid was born there, what would have been like and he saw himself and he was like,
Yeah, I mean, if it would have been a different kid, it would have been a little more confusing if you looked in the mirror and saw a different kid. I think
Yeah.
that would have made more sense.
yeah.
but we would have lost that connection to the actor that had already been established. So that's kind of a hard transition, but I don't think it's an impossible one because this episode's short. I will say this about this episode. I think this is my favorite episode of the show, and I think that it needed much more. This was condensed down to 30 minutes. I want to say this episode was longer than the other episodes. We didn't confirm the runtime of this. Kaylee can open back up her phone and see what the runtime is, but I'm pretty sure it's longer than the rest, but ironically enough,
actually,
not long.
It's not. It's
No?
29 minutes.
Yeah?
We've got Spirits is 32, Standing
Wow.
Up for Yourself is 24. They're all like 27.
This just has the
28.
most going on in it to
Yeah.
me, so I guess it feels the longest. But anyway, I think the irony of it is that as much as there is in this, it's not long enough. I was gonna say the irony was that it's the longest episode, which we now have confirmed that it isn't. So the irony part can get thrown out the door. But going back to the point is that this could have been a film. I think that what they're doing here. Now this is nothing we haven't seen before, right? This is a story I've seen plenty of times in the past, but I think there's enough heart going on here, and I really, really like the performance from the dad in this. I know the actor. I've seen him in a bunch of things, and there's something very heartfelt about this episode and the connection that they have. And even though this isn't their kid, it's almost like there's a connection there regardless of whether or not they made them in this universe. Like, your kid's your kid. Like, if these guys showed up at my door and it was in an alternate universe, I'd like to believe that we'd be connected, just from being, not related, but having such a deep connection in our souls and our DNA. And what are you gonna say, Elliot?
What I was gonna say is that when he wakes up, not wakes up, but when he builds the tree house with his dad in the alternate universe, and he convinces it.
Talk up louder.
But what is kind of a coincidence is that his dad works at a wood shop.
Well, I think that just shows, like, his dad, because nothing's really changed in this world.
Yeah.
So I would assume that his dad worked at a wood shop.
Yeah,
a
because he was
lumber
just like,
yard.
Yeah.
oh yeah, because he was just like, how did you know I worked here?
Right, and their favorite diner was over by the lumberyard.
Sure, and one thing with this episode that, you can't overthink these kinds of things is, like, how his friend still has the experiences he would have had living a different life, like the mayonnaise incident and all that stuff. If that kid was there for those things, there's a butterfly effect to everything. Yeah. And if you don't involve yourself in certain situations, people's lives are going to pan out differently. So, the things that he mentions about people. Now, his dad's past makes sense, right? His dad would have done all the same things up till he had him, but it's the friends' interaction where he's saying things that would have happened later on after their friendship had happened that would have changed his life so that those things did not happen.
What I was gonna say is the way that he would convince all of them is by telling them all of the things only they would really know from knowing them for a really long time.
Sure. I feel like he doesn't. I get it. His dad's dead, but I feel like he doesn't pay attention to the mom all that much in this. But they don't have the time. What?
So what I was gonna say is are we talking about it now?
Sure.
Anyway, so what I liked about it is that it was just like a dream almost, or like
sure, it can be
his soul
interpreted.
went to it, like his soul went to whatever that kind of multi-universe, and his body stayed at the hospital. And then another thing that I didn't get is that at the end of the episode, when his dad stays in there, why didn't his dad
why
come?
didn't his dad come?
Why didn't his dad go? And then at the same time, when a lightning struck, it hit a bush, not the treehouse.
Yeah, I think that there's good evidence here because of that to say that this was all in his head while he was in a coma.
Yeah, he was wanting to have
I think he was hashing out.
But then, why was the glitching happening? If he was in a dream.
Because
one
I think
with
that
glitch
he was
happening.
because I think that he was going in and out of being a coma
Yes.
and probably getting closer to death. And it was his interactions with his father that kept him alive and ended up pulling him out of his coma.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he actually went to an alternate dimension. I think
No,
that
just
he
like-
was in a coma, and I think that, you know, he had a brain injury, and I think that he might have flatlined a couple times. And during those flatlines, he saw death, he saw destruction, he saw what the other side looked like. But then when he went into his, you know, subconscious mind in his coma, he saw what he really needed to hash out in his mind because he couldn't deal with it in his real life. He couldn't deal with the death of his father. He was still trying to cling on to things that his dad liked and wasn't wanting to be around his mom because she reminded him of the dad and was ending up being late for dinners and all that stuff. So he just needed to work these things out in his head, and in his comatose state, his subconscious worked out the issues that he had and connected with his father and kind of got to say his goodbyes. That's why, I mean, this is the deepest episode, and it appeals to me more as an adult than it might as children.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a pretty deep episode for a children's show.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of it? Speaking
I
of
mean,
which.
it was definitely an episode I liked.
Okay.
To me, it was definitely an episode that I liked, but questioned a lot of questions that I had.
Do you feel like I answered most of them? I mean, this is my interpretation, so they're not real answers.
I know.
You prob-
You probably.
You should like call the
answered most of
scripter and be like, "Am I right with all of these questions? Like, watch my video.
Yeah, like-
am I right?"
Like from the episodes that when we first started, we called everything.
Yeah.
Like the hair wizard, the vampire,
Right.
and that Luna was gonna turn her back into herself, and the witch, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We called all of that.
What do you think of this episode?
Yeah, I liked it too. I agree that it's like kind of the deepest one and definitely the saddest. It's not necessarily my favorite episode. I still think My Monster was my favorite.
Okay.
But I do think they could have gone a lot more in depth with this one. So if they had a longer run time for it would have been cool to see more things explored.
You're right. The My Monster episode is pretty deep if you want to interpret it in the way of like who the villain is, you know, the villain, and the fact of facing your fears, and yeah, I suppose. But this one to me, it was just like the death of a parent.
Yeah.
But the other one was about the loss of a parent, whether your parent's dead or not. I mean, just like my father's mother, who walked out on him when he was 5 years old. It's like she might as well have died.
Yes.
She never came back. She just got in the car and drove away, and he chased her down the driveway, and he never saw her again, ever, in his whole life. She died not too long ago, and he never ever saw her in the last 58 years.
That
So she might as well be dead,
sucks.
right?
That
so
sucks.
losing a parent, I don't know what's harder, you know, losing a parent that died or that just left you. I don't know
Left
which
you.
one's worse.
Left you because
You got the perspective of a child here. Perfect.
yeah, left you because when they die, they still love you.
Yeah.
But when they
Look at
leave
this
you,
kid.
they don't. They just hate you, and they like, I don't like you. And
I
that's
think they
probably,
hate themselves,
Okay, yeah.
but I think you're correct.
But like that's such a hard feeling. Like if I were to lose one of you and mom just walked out, I chased you, and just left and never ever saw you again for 58 years, and then I just realized you died, and I never really talked to you. Like that would be awful.
Never happened. Don't worry.
I know it won't.
well, I definitely think they could have put more into the glitching. Where
Sure.
they just like glitched
The-
a tiny bit.
The problem with this episode is its limitations for the runtime. I feel like this episode wanted to do so much more, and it just couldn't because it was trying to fit it into 30 minutes.
What they definitely could have done is put like they could have saw dead like people, kind of like in the intro when you see like in the mirror them like being like, dead like that. If he saw like his parents being like dead, it like
Or even
flashes
himself.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
Oh
seeing
yeah, his
himself
dead
dead.
parents would be good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
that.
seeing like everybody that's in there
Dead.
and like looking
Like
at him
rotting
creepy.
faces, creepiness, kind of like the Mind Monster, but not like the eyes. Just like the eyes are like white, just like blacking out, like dying.
Yeah, and like it's like, and then you like has a flash.
That was a lot of likes.
That was like
Sorry,
She never
sorry.
talks like this, I swear.
Like,
She's turning into a valley girl all of a sudden.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like seeing flashbacks
Like?
of like seeing flashbacks of I freaked out the light. Seeing flashbacks of his dad dying.
That'd be pretty
Like-
dark
Yeah.
for this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would add more.
He'd like seen flashbacks of like what would be
No,
what
no.
would be like creepy is that like he keep like flashing in and out.
Yeah,
Him in a graveyard with by his dad's gravestone.
these kids are getting dark.
Yeah, they
Like
are.
I know.
They really are my
But-
kids.
But I feel like that would be like if to bring it more into the horror world.
Yeah.
But I
Or
feel
like
you're
seeing
right.
flashbacks of like
Like,
dead people.
yeah.
dead people, just dead people.
And then there's the alternate dimension angle with that did exist. He did convince this couple to give it a go and to have a child. Because in this world, they did not have a child. And he's convinced them through being around them that they want to have a kid. Which I think is another great angle to this. That shows that his mere presence convinces these people who decided against a child being around what would have become their child, knowing that they made a mistake and that they want to rectify that and have a child. So if that alternate reality does exist, those parents did become parents because of their kid coming to convince them they should be parents, which is another really deep, kind of cool thing. And we need to wrap this up. We're 20 minutes past bedtime.
Yeah, all I wanted to say is like how they get through, like how he gets back.
Yeah.
Is like they build a treehouse, but
Yeah.
it gets knocked again.
Yeah.
And his dad's in the treehouse when that happens, so I don't.
So
know how that
I think
happens.
the reason that the lightning hits outside the treehouse is to show you that the dad isn't going to come. But as I've said before, this to me is in his head. So the dad couldn't come. But if the alternate dimension is real, I think they explain that by the treehouse not getting knocked over, by just lightning striking. It's more the lightning that takes him back to his dimension, and he's the one susceptible to going back as the one is glitching.
There's a tiny few more details that I wanted to say. Is that like, they all like write initials on there,
Yep.
and when he comes back to his real world,
Yeah.
he finds the board of all of the initial stuff.
So my take on that is that he's misremembering. He's wanting to see it. I think this is one of those like implanted memories that maybe this treehouse was built a while ago, and he's seeing it for what he wants to see it as, and those initials were always there because those are their names anyways.
Yes.
So I think that those initials were in the real treehouse.
Ah.
We'd have to have confirmation in this episode that we look at the ladder and there is no initials on it. And then if there is initials, that's pretty much proof that it did go to an alternate dimension and that pieces of it came through with him. But he ends up in the hospital in his body and the treehouse stays where it is. That's fine. He can come to wherever his body is, but whatever. Anyway.
Okay, I have a fun. Sorry.
No, I was trying to think of what I was gonna say.
I have a fun thing to really quickly wrap
Last
this
thing.
up.
Yes.
Yeah. So, who do you think has the best episode? What's your favorite episode?
I told you this one.
This one, and then your favorite
thing,
episode.
and then the thing I wanted to say is like he like saw the initials signed on there, but then when his mom came out, was like what? And they looked back and the initials were gone. That would've been cool.
Sure.
So.
Then I would have just seen that as he was seeing it in his head.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So your favorite episode? Yeah,
said-
we can say.
I forgot.
You?
No, say it again.
The treehouse.
Okay.
So this is our fun thing to wrap it up. What was your favorite episode?
Probably the Leave Them Kids Alone episode.
Leave Them Kids Alone the first episode. You?
Mine was either Leave Them Kids Alone or Which Witch.
Gotta pick one. Pick which to be different.
Come on.
Come on. Now,
What's
Kaylee,
your
while
face?
she's thinking,
My monster.
My Monster. And you? 2 seconds. 1,
1, 2.
2.
My monster.
What?
What? I like it.
You totally switched.
Okay.
Alright, anyway, guys.
Bye.
Bye. So long.